This is my solution to Home Federal Savings Bank. It's a short enough video. We go over input statements and conditionals. Now remember, this is only my solution and yours may vary. Okay, let's look at our to-do list for bank.py. First of all, we're going to get user input. So when we get the input, we're going to ignore any leading white spaces. And we're going to take that input case insensitively. So whether it's uppercase or lowercase, we're still going to take it and process it. So we have three scenarios here. If the greeting is hello, so if it's the string hello, then we give $0. If the greeting starts with a H, if it's hi or any other word starting with a H, then we'll give $20. So anything other than hello or a word starting with H, we'll give $100. Okay, let's start with our input. So I'll create a variable called greeting. Now I need to print the prompt to the user so that they know what to type. They're going to type greeting. Now the next thing we need to do is ignore any leading white spaces. So I'll use the method L, so leading, strip. So L strip is a method and it strips away any leading white spaces. So if a person was to type, for instance, if a person was to hit the space bar and then type hello, there's a white space here. So that strips away that white space, brings it back. So that's what that does. So next, case insensitively. Remember, we want to take the input whether it's lowercase or uppercase. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to append on dot lower, and that's another method. So that converts. So if, for instance, you were to type in capital H, maybe a small e, and then a big L, L-O, right? Okay, what it does is converts everything to standardized lowercase. So that makes it work for either or. So in the same scenario, if you typed uppercase, it'll just convert it to lowercase, and if you type in lowercase, it'll just leave it as it is. So that's these two bits done here. Okay, now that we have our greeting, let's check these conditional statements. We're going to use an if statement. So if greeting is equal to hello, we're going to print $0. If greeting is equal to a word that begins with H, we print $20. And for everything else, we print $100. So our first if statement. So if greeting, now we're going to do some pseudocode here, is equal to hello. Then we're going to print $0. So for number two, I'm going to use elif. So if and elif. So elif greeting, I'm going to say is equal to H. Then we're going to print $20. And for the last one, we're going to use else. So else, we're going to print $100. So just clear that out of the way. So how are we actually going to check greeting to see that it contains the string hello or the first letters H? So for this one, we're just going to type, so if hello in greeting. And if that's the case, we're going to print 0. Now for this one, we're going to look at slicing. So the slice method in Python. Here I have a list called mylist, and this list contains a list of letters A through H. So if I print mylist, we see that it prints our list. Now to get a particular element of the list, we use the square brackets. So the first element will be 0. So if I print mylist 0 in square brackets, it's going to print A. Now H is going to be the last letter in the list. So to print the last letter in the list, I use -1. That prints H. So remember, in Python, as in most programming languages, lists start at 0. So instead of A being the first element, it's the 0th element. Instead of B being the second element, it's the first element, etc. It's the same with strings. So if I have a variable called myString and assigned to hello, and if I was to print myString and the 0 element, then we have H, because H is the 0th element. So using this logic, we're going to say if, so elif H in greeting, I'm going to use the slice of 0. Then if that's the case, we're going to print $20. Otherwise, we're going to print $100. So let's check 50. And we can see here that we have all greens. So thank you for joining me in this video, and hopefully I will see you in another one shortly.